project engineering is because where I'm working currently, although I was employed for the position of an operator, but since we are at our pre-commissioning stage, so it's more of projects that are ongoing here. So I really have little or no knowledge on it, and we are given a lot of contractors for us to handle, and we have to be giving reports and feedbacks on how the project is going. So this would be an amazing opportunity for me to up my understanding of projects and how it's handled. And I believe by the end of this mentorship session, I'll be able to grab as much as I can and go. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Philip. It's nice having you here. So can we have Precious?
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
My name is Precious and I studied chemical engineering. So the reason why I selected project management is because I want to really understand how to manage projects like industry standard, even in the oil and gas and energy, and also to work in teams and the software involved. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Precious. So can we have Sunday? Sunday, are you there? Okay, since he's not on the call. So thank you so much for giving us a brief introduction of yourself. Really appreciate. So without wasting much of our time, we are going to move to the next agenda, which is to welcome our speaker, our mentor. He has been on the call since Mr. Anthony. You can take the floor now, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Hope you all can hear me.
Yeah.
Please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to welcome everybody to this section. It's, I'm assuring you all that it's going to be a wonderful one, and it's going to be a learning section for everybody. We are all learning, and I want this section to go such a way that we are all teaching ourselves, and I want everyone to be involved. The little knowledge I know I have about the industry in the oil and gas field down to the maritime sector, I'm willing to pass down on to you. And it's a way and having together. I want to say thank you to everyone for being present. If you are not present, this section is not going to hold. And also for the dedication and commitments you showed. I heard most of you and the passion you all showed in project management and engineering. And it's an honor that I'll be the one guiding you through this early stage. Thank you. So we'll proceed to share my screen. Then I have I'm gonna see my screen. Please confirm you all can see my screen. Yeah. Okay. So my name is Anthony Ofulua. I'm a project engineer for Archipin Energies. You can check out my company online, Archipin Groups of Companies. Now, for today's section, today is an introductory class. Most of us have an idea of what project engineering and management is. So for those that doesn't know, this is a refresher class and a beginning class, more of an introduction. So the next session is not going to be long. It's supposed to be an interactive one. If anything you don't understand, you feel free to ask questions at the end of the slide. You can also jot any question you have also. Now, for our presentation today, Briefly, we're going into the introduction to project management, a manager responsibility or a project engineer responsibility, the challenges you are likely to face as a project engineer or manager. Then we move down to project manager or management process cycle, down to project management methodologies, then common project management tools and softwares, key skills for project managers, training schedule for duration of the month at the end. I will show you how the schedule is going to be to help you prepare ahead. Then any question you have, we can all treat it. Then we have questions and answers. So just a brief intro into project management. This is a process of leading a team to achieve specific project goals with defined constraint, scope, time, and budget. Everything about project management has to do with time and budget. It has to do with planning and execution. That is what briefly we're talking about. We're talking about reporting. Those are still under the scope of project management. Now, as a project engineer, because the first, I'll be using project engineer, not manager, based on you have to start from a project engineer before you move down to the management level. Now, as a project engineer, the sweet thing about project engineering is you are always a supervisor. It's such a way that you don't have to do the manual jobs yourself, but it's very technical and challenging. The same with more responsibilities comes more problems. So the project engineer, you are always a supervisor. You have to supervise the project from the beginning, which is the inception stage, down to the conclusion stage where the project is being completed. And also, you need to ensure that project is completed within a specified time. Every project has a scope. In that scope, there is a time frame. There's also a budget, and you have to deliver this in line with the quality standard, also in line with your organization standard. Each organization has a standard, so you're trying to deliver it to the standard of your organization and to acceptable standard. Now, what are the responsibility of project engineer? Clearly, first, you need to define goals and success criteria. This is the first step you need to do. Now, like I said, you're always a supervisor. Your work is to lead the team to the field or the execution of the job down to the completion of the job. Now, you have to, pardon my error for the manage, you have to manage risk and timeline. As a project engineer, it is not your responsibility to stop a job. You have to always offer solution to keep on the project running. If there's any stop in a project, the first person they will call, who is the engineer on site? Why is there a stoppage in this project? So you have to do everything in your means and in your power to make sure the project keeps on running smoothly and safely. It is only the safety engineer. I'll really share a story between myself and I was in the field with safety engineer, safety officer on ground. During the course of the project, we had a challenge in safety concern. After the whole safety challenge had been averted, the safety officer raised his concern, and I told him, okay, it is fine you raise this concern. And if you want to stop the project, you have the power because I'm the safety officer to stop the project. But my own job here is to make sure this project goes smoothly, safely and smoothly. As long as we have averted the danger, we can resume the project. Now, we have to communicate to stakeholders. Daily reporting, it's a very vital responsibility because the people that send you to the field to executing our projects, we need to always updates and progress of whatever is going on in the field, but they're not there to. So you are their eyes and you are their ears. And in project engineering, reporting is like that, detailing is like that. Reports, anything field needs to be reported. Now, you ensure the project is delivered on time and with budget. For every project is a specified budget, and you have to work within that budget. Now, challenges associated with project management. Now, we have scope creep. Scope creep is a term which refers to an uncontrolled expansion of the project beyond the scope original definition. A project scope might be to construct a bungalow. That is the initial scope. But now, when they now increase it to say construct a two-story building that's affected, now how do you incorporate that new scope into it? That exhausting the purpose. It's always a challenge when the management is in scope to an already existing and running projects. Now, the budget constraint, unexpected cost increase. During the year 2023, yes, when current president came to power, the dollar increase rate. So most projects that were initially budgeted for and the costing and the project has been awarded, the costing of the contracts has been awarded and be given out. Now, the current hike of price in dollars affected the cost of everything down to the building materials and everything was affected. Now, how do you think those building engineers are able to deal with the sudden hike in price? If you're buying your materials in batches, because it's not material you need to order once. So how do you deal with it? So the unexpected cost increase affected a lot of projects. It's one of the challenges we face. Unrealistic deadlines. That's a very the client will mount pressure on your company, you have to mount the same pressure on a project that is supposed to go for 1 month, but you deliver it in 2 weeks. That's giving you much manpower. This is always a challenge because you have to execute it in the way your company wants it and in the schedule they want it. It's always a challenge. Now, the resources constraint. When you have limited resources such as equipment and manpower, or even funding, that it's also a constraint. Now, we have the stakeholder management. This is the hardest part of it all. How do you deal with your managers? Different managers have various ideas. They always have competing ideas. This manager wants it this way. Other manager also wants it in this format. How do you do it? Because the reporting goes from different stages. And during the stakeholder meeting, it's always challenging. It is too many meetings and arguments. So where your stakeholders are intellectual people and understanding people that could correct you in the right direction. If not, it's always a big challenge to face. Now we move down to process cycle for the project stages. Now this is the lifespan or the life cycle of project engineering. Now it is categorized into 5 stages, which is from stage 1 down to stage 5. And it all begins from the project initiation down to the project closure. Now the project initiation, it defines the purpose, scope, and also the objectives of each project. Now we have the identify key stakeholders. You need to know your stakeholders in that project. need to create a project charter. Now, a project charter is a living document, and it's very important to say. A project charter is the initial stage, more like the initial stage for a project, and it also entails. This is the first stage of every project. It entails the project statements, the business case, your goal statement, timeline, the scope, and your team members. All these things are the first things because once a project has come to light, all these ideas and you need to have an idea of it. That's the first stage of planning. Then before you go to the project plan, the project initiation, it's they are giving the permits where the contractors, client have signed up the documents. They are now in charge of this project. Then you move down to the planning stage. For the planning stage, when the engineer comes in, you have to create a project plan. Now you have to bring the work structure. Which team members are needed to do the job? Which teams, which engineer experts are you bringing? Mind you, as a project engineer, you are not, you don't work in one field. Why they classify, why they call you a project engineer, they didn't target petroleum engineer, civil engineer. It shows how vast and how wide project engineers and project management is. It encompasses everything you can do in petroleum. As long as a project engineer, you can do the work of oil and gas. You can be in charge of the construction, do the construction. Now, one skill is tell people you need to act smart. Act even though you don't it. Act smart. Act like you know it. You might be given a job to execute a pipeline. You are not a pipeline engineer. You are the project engineer in charge of that work. Now, the pipeline experts would also come to that job, but they are under you because you are the company eye. You are the supervisor on site, you are the one sending out the reports, and you need to ensure these people actually doing it to standard. So you need to have an idea on how piping engineering works. Because most times the engineer would have to ask some technical questions. You have to give a technical input. You don't have to be as like of you. That's why for any project, you need to first go and do your research about the project. If you are not well equipped in knowledge of it, you need to study and know the basics. If not, if the moment the contractors say you don't have an idea of that project, you have lost the quality because them, even in that assumption, but they clearly know you don't have anything. That is, you should not let them know you are not an expert in this field. So you have to develop a risk management strategy, risk matrix. You need to identify the hazards at job. Now, the project execution. This space, you start working on project plan. You build the workflow. You assign tasks to different people, your team members. Now, you need to keep everyone the responsibilities, post management, to remind them you have a checklist of what is doing what they are assigned to. Now, the project monitoring and controlling. You have to do your project progress review. You apply changes where there is need to be. Now, if you see a business plan, it is not all business plan or any plan structure that is exactly the same thing physically. What you see on paper, adjustments can be made at the field. Because when you get the field and you face challenges, because they say you should do X, Y, Z, and you go to the field, it is complicated. You have to make an adjustment. That is the commonest. Now, the project closure, when it comes to the completion of the projects. Now, at the end of each project, there's always a project review. That is it's an internal thing you do with your management. You have to send the project review about the project. It states these challenges, also also recommendation for future projects. You need to include all these things in at the end of the project closure. Now, methodologies for project engineers. Now, methodologies are the way you plan to execute the tasks. Now, these three are the main or the most effective methodologies you can apply as a project engineer. Now, we have the waterfall system. The waterfall system is a traditional approach whereby you complete a project or a task before going to the next task. If you have to fill a jar of water, you don't fill it halfway. If you have to fill 10 jars of water, you don't fill them half. You need to fill one at a time. That is the waterfall system. You complete each task, then you go on to the next stage. It's like building a building. You have to start from the foundation level. When the foundation level is done, you can start building the main structure. You don't skip the process. Now we have the agile. It's another project technology, and it's a term that talks about flexibility. The iterative approach then emphasizes collaboration and adaptability. Now, the agile is flexible. That's why you call it agile. Now, you need to incorporate different methods. If this method is not working, you need to find a solution for that approach. Now, we have the blend, which focuses on minimizing waste and maximizing value. It's focusing on resources that is beneficial to the project's success completion. If you know this, what I am trying to do for this project is not beneficial to complete, it's leading to time wastage. You have a timeline. So these are just the three major methodologies you can apply. Now, the main reason why we're here, these are the common tools and softwares that is applicable to project engineers. We have the Trello. I went as far as to book them and what function they do. Now we have the Trello / Asana. These are task tracking. It tracks the process of a job. It keeps record of it, and your management has access to it, and that they can also see the project percentage. This project is 20% done. It shows them how you are going about the job. Now we have the MS projects, Microsoft projects / the Primavera. These projects are used, this software is used for scheduling. That is its work. We have the Poker / the FieldWire, which has to do with field management. And they are applicable more to civil engineers, especially construction projects. Poker and FieldWire are used. Then we have the Smartsheet / Monday.com. It has to do with collaboration and reporting. How well do you report tasks to the management? There are still more softwares, but these ones are defined for it. Though we could dive into some of the software because all these softwares are being paid for. But once we can access we would always go through it, and always I'm here to give you an insight on the softwares. Now, the skills you need to possess as a project engineer, one, leadership. You need to display and exemplary leadership skills. It's only if you need others will follow. And for people to follow you, they need to admire your style of leadership. Communication is very vital. If you cannot communicate your idea to your team, that idea is dying with you. The only way you can bring your ideologies to reality is communication. And communication can also build and destroy a team. If you don't know how to communicate well with your team, it's going to be a problem. Because when people don't know how to communicate with you, if you expect the project to go this way and someone notice there's a fault in it, but if they don't have that open communication and they say they are a very rigid person, once it's being done in your own way, it's perfect. So you need to have the communication skills. Now, time management is always a factor. You need to learn how to manage your time for the duration of the job. Now, problem solving. This problem solving, it is the ability of thinking outside the box. Problem would always come. For every project, there is always a problem. You as a project engineer, you have to find a way to mitigate that problem, to solve it, and process and continue with the job. Now, budgeting and financial oversight. You need to have an idea of budgeting as part of it. Then your negotiation skills is very, very vital. The company will send you to go and negotiate. I could remember during my interview when after presenting my resume and they saw my CV and the positions I've held over time. The question they asked me in my interview, how is your negotiation skills? For me, I cite an insight where I did some negotiations and it went. And till now, that negotiation skills has worked for me. Negotiation skills is a very vital part of project engineers. And that's it. It's brief introduction on project engineering at large. Now, our training schedule is going to go this way. Day one, which is the introduction, has been done. Day two, we're going into various softwares we mentioned. Day three, still softwares. Day four, we'll be going to a different approach, which should be drafting of contracts and risk assessments. It's a very vital part of project engineers. You have to draft legal contracts. You need to, because you're going for a project, a lot of things will come, and your contracts would always bind you. It's always a guide for you. So that's a that's an aspect we're going to dive into. Now, we're going to do a brief introduction into PNID and interpretation. As a project engineer, we are not treating on AutoCAD, which has to do with your drawing design. So it's a vital skills you need to have. If you have it's an additional skills, but you are always a supervisor. So the drawing aspect might not really come to you, but the interpretation aspect, it's always going to be on your list. The moment you get to a field, for you to understand whatever is going on, especially when it has to do with construction, the process plants, you need to be able to interpret diagrams and drawings. So we're going to do it. Then the seven, I left it open just in case along the line we didn't meet up with our schedules. We can use that day to fit in other events we wanted to do. Then our last day, which is the 8th, is budgeting. This section is going on for 2 months, only on Saturdays. Now, budgeting will be the last section of our class. Budgeting is a very vital aspect of a budget. If you don't know how to budget, any budget you send out, if they're putting in charge of a budget and they tell you track that budget, if you send out that budget and it is being approved, and that budget is not enough to carry out the budget tax, then you are going to have a tough time. And also in budgeting, we will teach you how to factor in the interest rates, because your company or whatever organizations you are representing will send a budget to the clients, and everybody is out to make money. So you need to factor in the company interest. All these will be treating in budgeting, and that will be our last section. And I hope we all have learned one or two things from project management and engineering. Then we move to question and answers. So at this point, if you have any question, you can ask because I will be taking them. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good
All
evening.
right. Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. That was an integrated
I,
section. Really appreciate it. Does anybody have a question?
yes, please.
Okay, you can go on.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you so much for the class. Like it's really insightful. My question is about if we are going to be able to practice whatever we learn and then show it to you. That is what we've been able to do with what you've taught us. If there's going to be like a test, an assessment, something like that.
Okay. It's all dependent on if you want an assessment at the end of the class, you can all do it. The idea is for me to give you the basics, introduce you to it, while you develop more on it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I did. It did. So basically, like if we come on into an issue, we can always come back to you for help.
Is there another question? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah, I can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the introductory class today. Um, it's from the slide we could see that we have a lot of exciting sessions to to work on. I used to ask if the slides will be fitting, whether we could also um, get it as well, if that would be possible.
you. That's can be possible.
Is that a yes, sir?
Yes, that's the yes. I will share the slides.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any other question?
Hello, good evening, sir.
That's the name. Please go now. I'm listening.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir. Can you hear you? Can you hear me as well?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Please go on.
Yes. Thank you so much for the class. It's been insightful so far. From the schedule you showed us, it means there's a whole lot packed. So my question is, there's a part I missed out where you introduced some of the common project management tools and softwares. So would we be maybe by chance or probably be practicing with any of them at all?
Okay. So most of this, all the softwares are made for, but there are some you can get the demo version to work on. And for each company and each organization has a different software they use for their project management. So
Yeah.
whatever industry you find yourself into, the formal training should be done on the company software. I'm just giving you an overview of all the subjects and dive into some of them.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much, sir.
So any other question? Okay, Sunday, yes, you have a question. You have a question. Okay, if there's no question this juncture, I will hand over to moderator Aisha. You can take over for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving us such wonderful class and lecture. We so much appreciate it, sir. So in the absence of no question, though if anybody still have any further question to ask, you can drop it on the group chats. Our mentor is always available to take up our questions at any time. So without wasting much of our time, that will be the end of today's class. And please, to our mentors, to our mentees rather, if you are here to fill the attendance, kindly fill it before the end of this call, please. Kindly do that now. It's actually in the chat box. Thank you. So see you all next
I
week
can't find
by
it.
God's
I
grace.
can't find the attendance sheet on